You're listening to Process Server Daily, the show where hustle meets strategy in the high-stakes world of process serving. From elite pros to the new servers taking massive action, these are the voices of a rising industry. Hosted by the founder of 123 Legal Support, Mighty Mike Reed. This is your backstage pass to building a profitable process serving empire. Let's get into it.
Welcome, everybody, back to another episode. This is episode 37 of Process Server Daily. I'm joined by my guest, Scott John Borowski of Charm City Process Services and Notary located in Maryland. Welcome, Scott.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to come on. I know you're part of the community, Mighty Process Server, and I've seen your posts in there. I appreciate all your contributions. I'm excited to have you on and have a conversation with you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, let's dive into like process serving. Like, what made you decide to do process serving with all the things and all the skill sets you have? What made you decide process serving?
To believe it or not, I think it was just all of a sudden I just woke up one day and just decided to do it. I was a paramedic for years and all that other stuff. I had no legal experience before, and it just I was one of the things that I saw people. I saw something on YouTube, and it was like, oh well, let me see. I started all the other businesses. Let's see if I can. Maybe this one might work here, and this one has taken off. I hit the ground like Jackie Jonah Kersey with this one.
Oh wow, yeah. So you're like, you just woke up and you're like, I'm gonna be a process server today. I'm gonna go knock on doors. Okay.
Exactly. Yep.
Now was it the allure of being a cool like PI type of person, or was it like I've heard some people talk about, or was it that you genuinely wanted to start a business that would be profitable?
Generally, make a business that actually worked for one
Yeah.
that actually that is needed, and since everybody sues everybody and there's always litigation, hopefully there'll still be business. And then another is always making my own schedule and keeping my own time, and and making my own thing. And that would seem to be just one that was very interesting. And all my other friends and all that go through the court system, and I'm just like, well, I've gone through it with them, so I know some of it, but I was like, yeah, it's an interesting. But YouTube helped, it sparked the interest,
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny you got started that way. And I think a lot of us to get started, it's like you need money. And then once you learn how quick you can make, $200 or $300 just serving a few papers. And if you could do that every day, then all of a sudden you add up, 20, 30 days together, and you actually have a business that pays more than any other job you could get without having like a doctorate degree,
Yeah, when I worked as a medic, it was 25. I was getting maybe $30 an hour, but doing a 12-hour shift.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So let's kind of dive in. So you've been doing the business. How long have you been a process server?
May.
You started in May. It's starting to be a theme. A lot of the people who I talk to who are coming on the podcast who are members of the community, they're crushing it. They're doing really well, and they like just started. And when I first started, Cliff Jacobs told me, one of these guys in California, he told me, come back to me, because they send out work all over the country. And he said, come back to me when you hit 1,000 serves. Like he wanted me to have enough experience to send me work, And I think about that now with some of the new people. But it's like, if you do the things I teach you in the community, you can grow. You make the calls, you send the emails, you show up in offices. Where do you think most of your businesses come from?
Well, majority, I would say probably 80% of it is working with other process servers, doing their contracted work for them. And then I've slowly started getting my own pro se customers.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for my three main ones that I have, that's where I've learned the ropes for everything.
Yeah.
And then be able to, so get the experience under my wing and be able to take a customer here and there of my own, test the waters, see if I sink or swim with them, or, then it's so much more and more and more.
That's cool. So, I always say we call them affiliates. And, when you work for affiliates, it's sometimes it's tough because you don't get paid as much. But what happens is they give you more volume because they get a lot more jobs. And you learn, like you said, you get to learn the business. You get to learn how many attempts have to be made before you can subserve a certain type of document. How many are you allowed to do surveillance in your area? Some states it's illegal for you to do it unless you're a PI, you know. So things like that you get to learn. Awesome. So in the serves, how many serves would you say you've done so far since May?
Actually, if I look at my serve manager, it says I've done 300 and something.
Oh,
So,
there you go. So in those 300 serves, what is your worst experience so far?
well, currently I have one now that I opened up an email, matter of fact, yesterday, and the person I was supposed to serve, he was a lawyer, and he's he lives here in Maryland, but he's a lawyer in DC, and he's going before the disciplinary board. And I missed him 3 times physically going to him, and we had talked on the phone about meeting each other, and I was going to be late for one of those, and I had called, and he had rescheduled for later that evening, and he then called and said he couldn't because he had to go to work. And then another one, I totally was unable to meet with him, again calling him and letting him know. But then I physically went to, did the 3 morning, noon, and night serves. And all of a sudden I get an email from the disciplinary committee or something from DC asking me, because he had sent them a note, apparently for him not being served, he got him in a little hot water. That he had made a statement about being served and all that. So they're questioning me on the veracity of his claims, and to make a response back. But according to everything that I've done in my affidavit, I followed everything except for not being able to meet with him when we did phone calls. But other than that, we did everything else by the book. So,
Yeah.
but it's scary when you open up and all you see is the email signature, the disciplinary something board, and you're like, you don't even read the email, and you're just seeing that signature going, what's this? What is that? What?
Yeah.
And you're driving, reading it at the same time. It's not.
Oh no. No. Yeah, that's the struggle. You have situations like that. That's wild. Yeah, I know that a lot of they're held to a level of ethics that if an attorney doesn't pay you or if they don't accept legal documents, they can be held liable. They can definitely be held liable and lose their right to practice law. So that's crazy. So, okay, what is your greatest experience so far? What has made you decide that process serving is for you, and you're going to keep doing it until you
I
get?
had a client come, and she was explaining to me how she had this. She needed somebody served who basically was a tenant of hers. And this is the first time that she has been in the business of renting a property, and the tenant left with leaving her $7,000 in damages, things of that nature. The BG bill of $5,000, and she has not been able to find this woman for 3 times to the sheriff, and she's having to keep on renewing the summons. And I mean, how her daughter, has health problems, and she gave me a very bad story of like what was going on, combined with now she has to replace the carpets and all that. So she's never going. Plus, it can't be rented. So I felt bad for her, and then how the person was avoiding her. So we went, and I think I was up to my 13th try on getting her. But I was bound and determined I was going to get this person for her because she needed to go to court, because the courts in Baltimore were, every time she would turn around, there was, oh, you can't renew this, or you can't go serve her. She was in the school system. You can't serve her in the school system, or you can't. They were just giving her the runaround so that she was getting more and more frustrated, more and more unable to do what she wanted to do. That I was like, you know what, I'll make it up for you for the courts. I know, and this is one that I'm bound to determine. This is a personal. I'm going to get her no matter what. And
Yeah.
I finally was able to get her. Even the school system was lying for, trying to protect her, but I finally got her. And it was really satisfying to be able to call her and go, guess what? I said, we got her, because I got alternative service also granted too at the same time. But she was so happy that she could get, finally take her to court, and then after this has been going on for now over a year, she can finally get everything done. But it was one of those that, it was like, that I just bound to determine I was going to get her no matter what. And I would just drive by the house, even if it was out of my way, I was going to try to find her.
That's awesome. I got to tell you, we have I've had situations. It's just such a good feeling, isn't it? Like when
Hmm.
they're like, we can't get it done. We've sent it to these 2 or 3 other servers, or what the sheriff tried to get them, or whatever. And it's a really interesting thing, like going into like a doctor's office or a school office or something like that, trying to serve someone at an administrative building or something like that. They will often, because they know them personally. They work in the office with them every day, and you go, "Yeah, I have a delivery for Julia," or something, and then they'll go like, "Julia, I could sign for it," and you're like, "Oh no, I need her signature, unfortunately." And then they go, even if I don't need it, I want her personally, right? And so I've had this happen where she goes back to get Julia, and Julia's like, I don't know that person. I don't have anything getting delivered here. Go tell them it's this or whatever. And they try to come up with this little plan for getting you to go away. And you're like, they come back and they're like, no, she's not here. Be like, I know better. I know she's back there. And I'll just start walking back there, and go back and Julia, and get them personally. And there's no better feeling than that when the client, um, and I think it's a part of the reason why many times when I was just starting out, I would, jump gates, go over fences and stuff, which I do not recommend people do.
I live in
Uh,
Baltimore. I can't. That's with our crime rate here. No, you don't. I mean, you don't want to do that. That was
yeah.
definitely not.
Yeah. You're over in Baltimore, so you're near like Charles Prophet. And
I literally live directly in the center, so I can be 95 each way.
yeah.
So we have, with our crime rate, I need to figure out anybody who can find me designer Kevlar would be wonderfully great because that's Baltimore's after 6.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, you definitely want to be safe out there. How do you stay safe while you're serving?
Well, I usually have somebody that, like my best friend or something, I usually take with me to drive around. He might be playing on his phone or something of that nature, but he'll notice when the Wi-Fi or something goes out that Scott's in trouble. But I usually try to, or I try to make sure that the neighborhoods that I know that might have an issue, I put those through the day, or if I have to go that night, I have, stun gun pens, stun gun this,
Mhm.
the app, the Citizen app, which is on your phone, is very good because all you got to do is you actually do a pattern on your phone, and it does alerts the cops. You don't have to call them or do anything. So it's kind of like you can do that. I mean, you're it's going to be hit or miss, but I also wear one of the head that helmet lights. That way, if they're going to think I'm going to rob the house, I'm not going to have a bright light on the head, knocking on the door. So that way it gives people to know I'm at the door for what, and I'm not there to knock down the door. You know.
Yeah. I tried that one time when I would serve a lot of papers. I would attempt paper, 20, 30 a day. I started wearing a vest, like one of the Caltrans type vests,
Mhm.
with the reflectors on it and stuff. And it surprisingly got a lot more doors to open for me, especially when I would serve up in the country areas, going up the road and don't shoot me. I'm here, almost like a road worker. They'll come up to you and be like, "Can I help you?" Like, "Are
If
you
you're
with
if
you
you're
with
gonna
the
do something if
city?"
you're gonna do something bad, you're not gonna make yourself look like a bright light and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, or a lot of times they're just scared to open the door. Period. The only thing I find though is I wear all black all the time for some reason. They always think I'm immigration or something of that nature. That's the only problem I get
Oh
too,
no.
because of my. That's the only other one I get. That one too because I have the papers and all that, and it's like I have to speak to them in Spanish or something, or like try to assure them, that's what I'm not here for.
Yeah, yeah. So what? So you just started May. What advice would you give to someone just starting out? Do you think like so far in the community, do you feel like you've gotten some support or?
I would say yes, very much so. Especially from the 3 people that 3 affiliates that I work with, and yours and your board. There's is you can there's no dumb question ever. I've posed quite a few of them, and they've all been answered, and they've all been answered. But I also have like people that I've met off your board here around my area, who I've made now friends with. That at 2 in the morning when I'm trying to do an affidavit and I'm like stumped, I could send him a text, and 2:30 he's answering my text message saying, "Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you have to do this or whatever."
yeah,
As far as reading book, I've tried to read them off Kindle and all that. There's not much information as far as and like Maryland is a very as long as you're 18 and can breathe, you can do it. But it's very there should be more. out there for, for that.
Yeah. We try in the community. I try to give you the resources you need so you could call and you can, use the app and you can put yourself on the directory. Have you gotten NAPS membership yet?
That one I'm trying to budget that one for that one because that one, but definitely it's going to be something that would be my Christmas present to myself, definitely.
Yeah.
But I did get a response from your database for somebody looking for here in Baltimore. So all of a sudden, out of the blue, I'm reading emails and I'm like, "What's this?" Oh, it was somebody who had found my on the database.
Yeah, our directories are starting to rank. I think we're number 4 in the nation now for process server directories, and it's moving up slowly. It's just a matter of rankings and, the website stuff that we do. That's what we specialize in. So, but yeah, what other advice would you give for someone just getting started?
To try to read as much as you can or try to listen to whoever you like your podcast, or I'm always like driving down the road with YouTube one, just letting the videos go. And even if it's something I've heard before, or I watch a lot of the court cases or a lot of the court stuff to get the knowledge from that end of the spectrum to work my way back. Because then there's also been there's cases on there when they've had issues with the server and how the server was even pulled before the judge for lying or doing something, and then they get to know what the judge was looking for, or how they figured out why they were being yelled at or something of that nature. So I'm always listening to those kind of podcasts or those kind of videos.
Very nice, very nice. How can everybody keep up with everything you got going on at Charm City Process?
Well, I have our website, Charm City ProServe, PROSERV.com. But as far as being busy, I used to be a person who was always tweeting and always Facebooking and I don't have any time to do that now as much. Except if I'm stuck on traffic or something like that, I may be able to squeeze one out here and there. But usually like Facebook would be the other one, which is the same thing. It's Charm City ProServe is my Facebook.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. What is your parting piece of advice for those out there?
Befriend anybody you can in the industry or whatever, because you never know when you're going to need them to help you or defend you.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, we rise together, and I think if you guys are watching this, for those of you guys that are watching, I hope you enjoy. Scott's over here killing it in the Charm City. Is that what they call it over there? Charm City?
That's our nickname. And the other thing is I have a sense of humor, because I mean, in this business, if you don't have a sense of humor and let it roll off, or at least whatever, they won't make it either, because you'll be too, everything will just go away. But you have to laugh about everything too, and just be like, oh, another day, another dollar.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for coming on, Scott. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
If you guys watch this and you're thinking to yourself, I could do process serving, I want to go check it out, go to mightyprocessserver.com, click on Get Verified, join the community, and start learning. You can actually go to the free community. If you click on Verified, there's another link that says $0. You can go join the free community. Like Scott did, he joined the free community. He learned the 10K challenge. As many other people I've interviewed, they've taken the 10K challenge and they've crushed it. He's been doing it since May. You can go do it since October or November, whenever it is that you're watching this. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. support@mightyautomation.com. Thank you guys so much. Take care, be safe, and as always, live mighty.
That's a wrap on another episode of Process Server Daily, where the legal support industry levels up. Want to grow your process serving business with the best marketing tools, the most engaged community, and the highest ranking directory online? Visit mightyprocessserver.com. Claim your listing. Join our free community. Surround yourself with process servers who get it and build something real. From the field to the courtroom, this is Process Server Daily. Until next time, stay safe out there and live mighty.